Dear students, welcome to eContent developed on session 10 Victorian Literature Part 2 BA Optional English 5th semester Davangere University. In this session, I am going to teach Christina Rossetti's poem In an Artist's Studio. Recap. In the early session, we have learned about the introduction of Victorian age and introduction of Victorian poetry. Learning objectives to help them to understand Rossetti's life and career, to make them to understand the poem in an artist's studio. Session outcomes. Students will be able to understand Rossetti's life and career. Students will be able to understand the poem in an artist's studio. This session includes contents like this: Christina Rossetti's biography, Rossetti's poetic career, introduction of the poem, summary of the poem, MCQs, assignments, and references. Christina Rossetti's biography. She was born on 5th December in 1830, London, England. Rossetti was an English poet who wrote romantic, devotional, and children poems, and also follower of a famous literary movement, Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Rossetti's notable works: Goblin Market and Other Poems, The Princess Progress, A Pageant and Other Poems. She was died on 29th December in 1864 at the age of 64, London, England. Rossetti's poetic career. Christina Rossetti was one of the Victorian era's greatest and most influential poets. Her poetry, characterized by deep religious feeling, longing for everlasting rest, her poetry represents the ideal simplicity that was at the root of the Pre-Raphaelite movement. In 1862, by the publication of Goblin Market and Other Poems, she received critical praise, establishing her as the foremost female poet of the Victorian time. Poem In an Artist's Studio, written by Christina Rossetti. Now I read the poem. One face looks out from all his canvases. One selfsame figure sits or walks or leans. We found her hidden just behind those screens. That mirror gave back all her loveliness, a queen in opal or in ruby dress, a nameless girl in freshest summer grains, a saint, an angel, every canvas means the same, one meaning, neither more or less. He feeds upon her face by day and night, and she with true kind eyes looks back on him, fair as the moon and joyful as the light, not worn with waiting, not with sorrow dim, not as she is, but was when hope shone bright, not as she is, but as she fills his dream. Introduction of the poem. In an Artist Studio was published in 1868. This poem is a sonnet written in iambic pentameter. The poem focuses on male desire and the representation of women as objects of the male gaze. Rossetti challenges the sonnet from by writing about obsession and female oppression. The poem is about the male artist's tendency to objectify his female sitters or models for his paintings and sculptures. Summary of the poem. The sonnet starts by focusing on a face, one that stares out at the speaker, from a portrait painted on canvas. The speaker's gaze settles on a particular portrait and she becomes enthralled. The portrait is different. In it, the woman is figured as a queen, a saint, and an angel. The artist is seen as a sort of predator or parasite, feeding upon the face of the female model by day and night. The woman accepts the predatory feeding with true kind eyes, looking back on him, much as the mirror gave back all her loveliness. The woman is fair as the moon, meaning that she possesses a radiance, a light. This light is not one with waiting. This final line of the sonnet, the woman portrait, stands as an ideation of the artist. Now I conclude this poem now. Here we have MCQs for your reference. We will see one by one. Christina Rossetti was part of which literary movement? Options: Pre-Raphaelite, Romanticism, Modernism, Surrealism. Answer is Pre-Raphaelite. Second question: which poet was not a contemporary of Christina Rossetti? Options: G.M. Hopkins, Emily Dickinson, Alexander Pope, Walt Whitman. Answer is Alexander Pope. Third question: in an artist's studio is a dash. Options: Petrarchan sonnet, Italian sonnet, Spenserian sonnet, Shakespearean sonnet. Answer: Petrarchan sonnet. Fourth question: Fair is the moon is an example of what literary device? Options: metonymy, simile, metaphor, synecdoche. Answer: simile. Assignments: analyze the character of the artist, comment on the line he feeds upon her face by day and night, examine the theme of Christina Rossetti's in an artist's studio. References: Site source and one text here. Roy Oren, An Outline History of English Literature and English People. Roy Publishers and Distributors, Nagpur, 2001. Thank you.